Maybe I'll just rejoin here. All right. So today I have with me Tim, who has been able to successfully navigate the commercial cleaning space. And just a little bit of background, we're going to dive into his story in a second. But before I do that, thank you so much, Tim, for taking the time and coming on the interview.
Well, thanks for having me, Alex. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. So so just a little bit of background, and I want to hear it from you as well. But Tim was able to pretty much successfully launch his first franchisee. He was actually the youngest franchisee owner at the age of 21, and he bought his second one at 25. Also started a restaurant brand. I don't know. I'm really curious to learn how you did all this, if it was at the same time or how you balanced it all. And then now he's actually working on his, I guess you could say, the fourth business, scaling past 30K a month with floor cleaning. So, Tim is an excellent entrepreneur. Definitely wanted to dive into your story, as well as get some golden nuggets as to things that people can start applying, especially if they're starting out. Right. Actually, if you don't mind me asking, what got you into the cleaning business or the industry?
So initially, I went to the University of South Carolina. Well, I went to Benedict College my first year out of high school, then transferred to the University of South Carolina with aspirations of becoming a lawyer and a sports agent. So even though I've been starting businesses since I was a kid, I was going to college to become a professional, a lawyer and a sports agent. But entrepreneurship was still in me. So just say I didn't like reading in high school. So when I got to college, I pretty much got introduced to personal development and self-help books. So between, listening to Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, it led me to reading more. So I started reading Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Small Business Opportunities magazine. And that's where I found an opportunity to buy a franchise, which was Jani-King. So that's kind of what got me into the industry. Wasn't passion, wasn't purpose. I was looking for a business that I can profit in, low cost startup, and the janitorial industry was perfect.
That's awesome. And I love that you started reading. I think that's so powerful, and I feel like oftentimes it's underestimated, just getting in the right mindset starting out, because it's a long, it's a long journey starting your own business and doing all this stuff. So is there any book, just curious, is there any book in particular that you felt really shaped who you are and kind of guided you along the way that you would recommend to people?
So my top two recommendations for books, as far as entrepreneurs in any industry, would definitely be Think and Grow Rich. Just a really, really good book all around. And then Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But more importantly, in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant. So he has a section, and I tell people, just go to YouTube, type in cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki. It's an 8-minute video. He'll explain the quadrant. Now I'm going to give you the shorthand version because it changed my life as an entrepreneur in and outside of the cleaning business. In the cleaning business, I was probably mid-20s. I revisited the cash flow quadrant from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The main part of it is the difference between self-employed and business owner. So just say most people in the cleaning business get locked into the self-employment box, meaning if you flip the word, you employ yourself. So there's no leverage when you don't have a team, and there's only so many hours in a day. So the difference between a self-employed cleaning business owner and a business owner, for me personally, was going from making $9,000 a month, working 85% of the time, to working 15% of the time as a business owner and making over $40,000 a month. So it's a major difference. So I would say Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but more importantly, the cash flow quadrant of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's amazing. So, and I think it's almost like your thinking kind of shaped your decisions. I was watching, have you ever seen the movie The Founder?
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, I love that. I love that movie. And one of my favorite quotes was when he's sitting with the first president of McDonald's. And so they say, you know, that he's not in the, I'm gonna slaughter the phrase. It's like, you're not in the food or the restaurant business, but you're in the real estate business. And I try to tell like to cleaners, like it's almost like, you know, it's like leads and sales, like prospecting and sales, and then also hiring. It's like, if you can figure those things out, it's not saying it's easy, but yeah, really curious, man. So you know, you started your first franchisee. How were you able to make that a success and be able to launch your second one at such a young age as well?
Right. Okay. So, all right. So, like they say in business or in life, it's not about what you know; it's about who you know. So, when I first got in the cleaning business, I didn't really know anything other than, you know, the chores that we had to do growing up. So, I didn't know. All right, this is how you got to vacuum a floor. This is how you strip and wax. In fact, I subcontracted all my carpets and floor care contracts out, because I just knew the basics of cleaning, and then what Jani-King trained us, which most franchises don't train you how to do floors specifically. You have like a crash course, and then some things you got to figure out or you got to sub out. All right, so yeah, so I came in green and, you know, pretty much learned as I went, but I also built a good rapport with the operations manager. So I was likable. We took a lot of the troubled accounts. So just say my very first account only paid $200 a month. All right, we had to clean it 3 days a week. It's about 12,000 square feet, and it took two other people besides myself about 2 hours each service. So 3 cleans, about 6 man hours, only $200 a month. But we treated it like it was paying $20,000 a month. So we always was on time. We did a really detailed cleaning, and you know, had good customer service. All right. In return, Jani-King saw that they could trust us with contracts, and they just kept offering us more until we got, you know, to 6 figures. So both of my franchises gross more than 12,000 a month each one. Even though, you know, eventually I started my own organic cleaning business and made even more money. But that's kind of how I started, was taking troubled accounts, showing up to do the work, doing the work, and just kind of learning as I go. Alex, you on mute. You on mute. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was trying to accept. I apologize. I'm just trying to get people into the chat here as well. So yeah. So what was kind of that transition like? I mean, do you feel like most franchises are willing to do that? Like, if you show them good quality work, they'll give you better accounts, or like what do you think?
Unfortunately, no. One of the cons of franchises, and we like to call it, as a franchisee or former, recycling accounts, meaning if you come in on the bottom level and you're kind of, you know, 50-50, 70-30 with your account, meaning it's not in great standing, but they tolerate you. If somebody comes in to Jani-King on a higher level, like they pay $10,000 to get in instead of $1,500 or $3,000, sometimes they'll, you know, I've heard and seen them, you know, transfer accounts to satisfy that, you know, franchisee. So it's kind of like a money game. Like for each level, they only guarantee you a certain amount. So they'll tell you, hey, you can go out and sell your own accounts. And for some people, that probably makes more sense versus waiting to get more, even though you only paid in for this amount. So yeah, you really kind of don't want to rely on waiting on them to give you accounts. Now, yes, they'll, you know, occasionally offer you more, but you usually kind of get what you pay for. Like if you only pay for this level, that's all they have to guarantee you, you know, and then from there it would be based on trust, relationships, opportunities that may just come up, somebody lose it, somebody quit, die, you know, something happens. But I would not just rely on them giving me contracts. I would learn the sales process, whether it's cold calling, passing out brochures, passing out business cards. I would be more aggressive, so be more active.
I love that. Yeah, because that's something I've heard a lot, is like I think a lot of people maybe wait for opportunities, like people to start calling them. They think like, okay, cool, I got an LLC, and now people are just gonna start calling me. I wish it worked like that. That'd be amazing. I think we'd all have an easier time. But was there maybe like one or two ways that really helped you to get your own opportunities? Were you working your network? Were you knocking on doors?
Now, are you saying as an independent cleaning business owner or a franchisee?
Just as a franchisee for now, I guess.
Okay, so as a franchisee, like I said, we kind of focus more on working hard, and we did ask for more business. So just say even, I'm spiritual, but just say from a biblical standpoint, which some people look at it as the same, it says you have not because you ask not. So asking for more business is pro-choice, it's free will. So you can ask the operations manager or the master franchisee, hey, look, we want to go up to another level. Now, yeah, most of the time what they'll do is give you more accounts and charge you a finder's fee and like a down payment to go to the next level. But, if you're, handling your business, meaning keeping your accounts in good standing and still asking for more, then that's seeking more opportunities, they'll probably come. But you can also take whatever franchise you're with, credentials, and actually sell your own accounts. Like I've had business friends that had the same franchise that I had, Jani-King, and they went out and sold post-construction cleaning contracts, floor care contracts. They went to the business department, bought the list of new business owners. Like you can go to anywhere you go in your city or where you would go to get a business license, you can actually go there and for like 50 cents a page, get a printout of all the new businesses and just cold call or stop by yourself. So there's a lot of ways that you can just take more shots. That's what I call it. So in order to score more points, i.e. new contracts, like you said, leads and sales, you got to take more shots. So if you passing out, 500 brochures a month, 100 to 1,000 business cards, you're making the cold calls, then that's taking more shots. So you're going to have more opportunities to get more leads and sales, which translates into more contracts.
Awesome. So
let me add this, Alex. Sorry, as far as leads and sales. All right. So Jani-King, as like most franchises, but I can remember personally from Jani-King, they had an older woman named Trudy. All she did twice a week was open the yellow pages and cold call. And right here in Columbia, at that time, they had about 70 franchisees, and they were doing about $2 to $5 million per month. And they didn't advertise. They didn't pass out brochures. They didn't pass out flyers. They cold calls. So they did it the old school way. So it's a guy on YouTube. He's worth about 50 billion. Dan Pena. He's worth a lot of money.
The man in the castle, right?
Right. So they asked him in an interview, what's one thing any entrepreneur can do and change their life? Anybody. Without hesitating, he said, make 100 cold calls a day. That's the same thing most management companies, franchises do. They make a lot of calls.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard to see it. I almost feel like it's sometimes, I don't know if you feel this way, but it's almost like in the beginning, it's just very hard to see especially after you get rejected like so many times. Right. Like I remember when I used to call like restaurants and they would all just, hang up on me and everything you can think of. But it's important to, even get over that. And it's like, even if you don't get a lot of meetings, it's like you're still improving your confidence and your sales skills
every time. Absolutely.
And but yeah, so you pretty much launched the first one, became the youngest franchisee at 21.
Right.
When did you feel like it was a good time to kind of launch your second franchisee without doing too much at the same time?
All right. So in business, all right, some of us have partners. At the time, my partner, he was a couple years older than me. So eventually, all right, we had Jani-King together. So we had an LLC. And then we bought Jani-King as a DBA, so doing business as under the umbrella of our LLC. So our whole thing was we went into business for profit versus passion or purpose. So we was just using Jani-King as a stepping stone anyway. So we used the income that we made from there to start a restaurant, to also buy landscaping business. But eventually, egos clash, more so him, because I was created the business plan, kind of put the vision together. So I already knew my value. I didn't have to prove it, but we end up clashing, bumping heads, and end up splitting up the business. So I end up giving them my half, and that's how a year or two later, I was like, well, I like the cleaning business for scalability and passive income, so I'm gonna just buy another franchise. So I bought one in Greenville versus the first one we had in Columbia. So that's kind of how I got to the second franchise.
Got it. Okay. Looking back, I mean, with the partnership, is that something that you would have changed in terms of the partnership, or I don't know if it was like you were looking for one and then you found someone, or how that went about, but is that something, do you feel like it was still worth it in terms of?
Right. I feel like partnerships can be a great thing. So, two people can do more than one. And of course, to be a business owner versus self-employed, you have to create a system and have teams and, things in place to free up you. So I would say this, in some cases, business partners make sense. Sometimes they don't. Now, when you don't have the money or all the resources, they start making more sense. And okay, I was a college student. I might have had, 1,500, had a, regular paying job. So making about 300 or 400 a week, and I had these big goals, but financially it would take a while for me to, activate them. So in that case, a partnership made sense. I only have to come up with half of what I need to start this business. Somebody else come up with the other half. They have vested interest, meaning they're going to put their time, money, and energy into the venture too. You do have more chances of succeeding. So at the time, it made sense. Now, if you already have the money, then of course you can hire and outsource and subcontract, and they're partners per se, but not on paperwork far as in a partnership in your, private company.
Got it. I see. Yeah, because I was actually surprised when I was looking at the time that it took for you to launch your second franchisee, because yeah, a lot of people, I feel like from what I've seen, like it seems like it takes a while to, start to get it up and running, actually get accounts, retain people, start building your team and all that. Is there anything like you did to kind of speed that process up in terms of just being able to continually grow, and also a way that's not putting yourself into the business, and in a way that you can maintain and control everything?
Right. Good question. So like we were saying earlier about the cash flow quadrant. So self-employed is basically you doing all the work. Business owner, at that point, when you make that mindset shift and physical shift, then you understand in order to take myself out of the picture, somebody's got to do the work, whether it's an employee, subcontractors, family, friends, whoever. So by the time I got to my second franchise, I learned about family business. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I learned about hiring friends. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And then I was beginning to learn more about subcontracting. So I would say, okay, that would be a heads up. Start learning how to hire, like who to hire. My rule is I never hire anyone I'm gonna have a hard time firing, whether that's family and friends or somebody that's, intimidating in whatever way. If I'm gonna have a hard time firing them, I just don't hire them. But hiring is gonna be important to get to the next level, because in order to take yourself out of the picture, somebody has to do the work still. So like I said, whether it's a subcontractor, employee, family, friends that you activate, you're gonna have to get comfortable relinquishing the responsibility and delegating tasks.
Got it. What would you say is like one of the main tasks that, or actually, let me ask you this first. How do you know when a task should be delegated versus being done yourself?
If you, all right, so I went into business for three things. I just call it 3 F's: financial freedom, flexibility, and family time. So if I got a successful cleaning business and I'm working 80 hours a week, when do I have family time? So my girl's gonna get mad. My kids are gonna feel some kind of way. How much flexibility do I have? It's only 24 hours in a day. So if I'm working 80 hours a week, then you add the 6 or 8 hours a day, you're gonna get some sleep. Not very much flexibility. Now, so that means out of the 3 things I went into business for, if you're working all the time, only thing I would have is the financial freedom. But what's the finances without the freedom? So if you're digging in, so just say you're in the trenches, yeah, of course, initially, most of us have to be in the trenches to put in the work, to learn the system, to put the system together. But once you kind of feel like, okay, I passed this task, meaning I understand how the business is supposed to be operated. I'm cool with the amount of contracts I got. All right, just say I'm doing 10,000 a month and I'm cool with making 7 and I can outsource some of the work using $3,000 worth of payroll. When that makes sense and when that situation happens, you do it. So the more you pull out, and if you still are focused, meaning I'm still doing advertising, promoting, selling, still on top of the operations, customer service, following up with clients, report, all this. If I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, I can actually get more of my time back and then put that into sales, marketing, and advertising to keep my income going up. And then I just keep buying more of my time back. So I might go from pulling out from 80 hours to 40 hours. All right. And then in the 40 hours that I'm, used to working, I'm just doing smarter work, meaning I'm focusing on leads and sales because more money is going to buy more time back for me, meaning I got the money to pay somebody else to go. So once, when you get that idea, like, hey man, I need more family time. Sometimes you'll get a reminder, your old lady, boyfriend, whoever, they might say, hey, look, I get you running a business, but we need more time. So either when you get the thought or your family, lets your loved ones, hey, we need more time, you got to start strategizing because it's not going to fix itself. You're the brain of the operation. You got to figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing, those are some amazing points right there. And I think it's just, there's a lot of people, to be quite honest, I mean, there's a lot of people in this industry that are stuck. And I think that are, they have a bunch of accounts and they can't really do anything, or they're having problems trying to delegate, those things. I'm out of curiosity, like, did you, in terms of hiring, even before maybe you get those signs, are you always putting people on the back burner in terms of, okay, like, maybe I have some tasks I want to delegate that, or, just people that, workers, if you get more opportunities, or what are your thoughts on that?
So in the beginning, when I was learning the business, I didn't know, okay, and a lot of people have this problem. So I just say, all right, most small business owners have, and even big business owners have problem keeping employees. Now, if you pay attention to the bigger companies in any industry, just like if you take the fast food industry, if you go to McDonald's, in the window, they have now hiring. So it's not that they have high turnover, they're just always hiring. So yes, knowing what I know now, I would have floor techs on standby, meaning I have, whether it's a job form or a Craigslist ad, I would be running ads to get people lined up. So janitor, like regular cleaners, residential cleaners, floor techs, subcontractors, I would already have them in mind, somewhere on paper or somewhere on my phone. That way, once I get a contract, I can already match somebody up. And see, I had to learn about the hiring process. So after my second franchise, I ended up taking a supervisor job for a company that did restaurant cleaning contracts. So they had all the Carrabba's, Outbacks, Bonefish Grills, Outbacks from Florida to Virginia. So that during that job, I actually learned how to strip and wax floors by default, and I got really good. I learned how to hire because we use Craigslist to hire. I had to train the subcontractors, do their subcontractors agreement forms. So my job after my second franchise prepared me for my third cleaning company, which was my organic one. And I ended up doing, $400,000 a year.
Wow.
So the things I learned, how to hire, so run a Craigslist ad, how to build a list, how to prospect, how to create the ad to narrow down the knuckleheads, meaning, all right, why would you hire somebody without a car, without a valid driver's license? If you're not gonna drug test them or background check them, at least say it in the ad because they might get discouraged if they couldn't pass it. So I learned how to get really good at those. And then the cleaning business became really easy. So by the time I got to my fourth cleaning company, I had contracts in 3 states, 12 counties. I ran the whole business from my condo in pajamas. A bad day for me was, which one of my cars do I want to drive? I had figured it out.
That's awesome.
Right.
You're making it when that's like your problem, throughout the day.
Right.
Really, really cool. And did you always, I'm so sorry I know I had so many questions, but
No,
you
good.
did you always have that vision of like always removing yourself from the business, or was it maybe after you saw like how much was involved with running the business where you're like maybe
Good question.
reevaluating?
All right, so good question. So remember, I keep bringing up that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but more importantly, the cash flow quadrant. So years after being in the business, so like it probably took me till I was 31. But at this point, I had owned 2 franchises, a landscaping company, 2 restaurants. So I've used cleaning business money to buy other businesses. That's been my foundation. Make money in the cleaning business, use the cash flow to buy other businesses. But until I revisited the cash flow quadrant at 31, even after being successful in multiple businesses, multiple 6-figure businesses that I started using cleaning business money, I still didn't know the difference between self-employed and business owner. But once I got it, meaning the object is not to get the work and do all the work. The object is get the work, send somebody else to do the work. That's the business owner. Like you don't walk into McDonald's and run into the owner or Walmart or Kmart or any major corporation. The owner is so far removed. Sometimes you support businesses, you don't even know the owner's name. But that's the idea. So in this case, the grass is greener on the other side. So like I said, once I figured it out, the good days, the bad days was, okay, I got 5 cars. Which one of my cars I want to drive? What do I want to eat? I had, the cleaning business, contracts in 3 states, 12 counties, 28 employees between my tire shop, digital marketing company. Now, mind you, I bought the tire shop in 2014 off Craigslist using money I made from the cleaning business. I bought a 6-figure tire shop already in existing off of Craigslist. But I went into the cleaning business thinking I'm going to just use it as a profit-based business. And it's a difference. So I classify businesses into 3 different types. So you got profit-based, meaning it makes dollars and cents. So for me, the cleaning business, not connected to passion or purpose, it only makes dollars and cents. All right, then you have passion-based businesses, which is, this is what I like to do and I happen to get paid for it. Or it could be a hobby that you turn into a business. And then the highest calling, the third type of business, so the third P is purpose-based, meaning this is what I was born to do. So like Eric Thomas said, the 2 most important days in your life, number 1, when you was born, your date of birth. And then number 2, when you discover why you was born. So I wasn't born to, clean toilets and do floors, but I used that as a profit-based business to get me into some of my passion-based businesses, and then later into my purpose-based businesses. So a lot of what I do now all came from making money in the cleaning business. So just last year, I got into a lot of my purpose-based businesses. Like right now, I'm in my business trade school and incubator. I opened it last year using cleaning business money, a physical location. I also opened 5 other brick and mortar businesses, liquor store, I bought a pizza restaurant, a food truck, a car wash, and a fireworks stand. all using cleaning business money to invest into other opportunities.
That's amazing. So what would you say to someone who is a cleaning owner and the whole reason that they joined in the beginning was because they like and enjoy cleaning? Like, would you say that they should try to make that transition, or do you think it's possible to make that transition and they're thinking about it that way, or what would you say?
That's a good question. All right, so that's a good question, Alex. So now so my personal calling is not the cleaning business, but there are actually people that are passionate about the cleaning. Like they feel like, hey, brings me joy. I like to see homeowners, business owners smile. So for those people, the cleaning business is going to be easier once they figure out how, because you'll still need to hire, because in order to grow your business, all right, once you max out of your 24 hours, then you're topped out as far as how much you can make income wise too. So even with passion for the business, you still need to learn certain things like how to hire, how to, do certain things within the business as far as operations, how to build a system in order for you to make the money you want to make, even doing what you're passionate about. So I had a young lady that I was really good friends with in the cleaning business. She was really rich. Like when I got into Jani-King, I came in at the bottom. She was the top money earner. She was doing probably $250,000 a year just in post-construction, and she actually loved cleaning. Now she taught me something, how to look at it differently. So I just looked at it as, okay, I'm making money cleaning and I'm putting the money into other businesses. She said, well, once you look at it like you're getting paid to exercise. So she actually was passionate about going to her contracts because she would look at it like I'm getting a workout. Then when she added listening to personal development while she's cleaning, so now you're getting a workout, you're conditioning your mind with personal development, audiobooks and YouTube, and you're getting paid to do it. So for the people that are passionate about it, I would adopt the other two things or three things. And then now you got a great situation. Plus, learning, how to hire and scale your business to where you can do what you're passionate about, make more money, and you still have the option to do other businesses that you might be more passionate about, or you might discover your divine purpose, meaning, why am I even on this planet?
That's amazing. Yeah, and like it's interesting. I didn't even realize you had a marketing agency as well. I think that's very interesting.
I've owned 16 businesses in 8 different industries. So I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur for real. Like I'm not married to any particular business. I just love entrepreneurship. So I've owned tire shops, restaurants, like all kind of businesses.
Got it. In terms of mindset, like, was there anything do you feel like it was always a case where you kind of saw opportunities? Because really what you were doing throughout this process, I mean, for example, the restaurant experience, I mean, that taught you not just about the industry, but that also taught you how to hire, that taught you certain skills that would build a foundation for you to, launch your other businesses and the following one. Were you always kind of thinking about, challenges and failure as an opportunity, or was that kind of just from your experience? Was that from the books? How did you develop that mindset?
Right. All right, good question. Now let me figure out how to answer it. So that's a stacked question. So I would say mindset is a big deal. Confidence, like we said earlier, whether it's cold calling, doing walkthroughs, confidence is a big deal. So I would say I've always had pretty balanced, between confidence and fear. So now I have, super duper confidence because I've accomplished so much. So now it's straight faith over fear. Like I'll try anything as far as, like last year I got a liquor license. That's a pretty tough thing to do. Pass DEC inspection during the COVID. That's pretty tough. But I went into it saying, this is what I want to do. And I was just focusing on getting it done. Challenges occurred, I just worked through them. So yeah, confidence in general is a big deal. I'll tell you what helped me. So listening to motivational speakers like Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, even some, spiritual preachers, TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Reverend Ike. So just basically constantly listening to positive, motivation, inspiration. So even motivated people listen to motivational speakers. Like Les Brown, the #1 motivational speaker, used to listen to Earl Nightingale. He used to listen to Jim Rohn. Eric Thomas listened to Les Brown. Now he's one of the top speakers. So you like in any industry, facet of entrepreneurship, it's important to stay motivated. What helped me was listening to motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, and doing it daily. And that kind of helped change my mindset. Plus, I already had the work ethic and the ambition, and they just kept me, motivated and enthusiastic to get things accomplished.
Yeah, and especially, this is a hard industry. Like, there's a lot that goes into running a cleaning business, from equipment. You have employees, maybe not always reliable, and but I think it's great that you were able to have motivation, because I'm sure that ultimately allowed you to just be consistent. Take the consistent actions that were necessary for you to grow, which are not always the most comfortable things. Picking up the phone is not comfortable for a lot of people, I think, and but you just got to have that, Les Brown or whoever it is, Tony Robbins, whatever it is, or whoever it is that I think motivates you. So also, so curious about, so how did you start the floor care company? So it seems like you kind of learned these skills, you were developing them with your previous role with the restaurant. How were you able to kind of launch that? And I don't know what the time span was for you to get to that level, but
okay. Well, it was like I was pretty consecutive. So just say from 2005 to 2008. All right, 2005 I had my Jani-King, my second Jani-King franchise, but I wanted to make more money. Like they had got me up to probably about 14,000, and so I had like bank contracts, water plant, a lot of banks. I probably had about 8 banks. I had a manufacturing plant contract that was paying probably about $4,000 a month. But at this point, I wanted to make more money. So I started to take a lot of money and I got used to it. So even like with your vision board, so just say, I always tell people, don't put no less than 10,000 on your vision board. So you want the dollar amount that you want to make. So when I first went into the cleaning business, my first number on my vision board was 10,000 a month. All right, so you got to be specific. Now, even if you get, close, that's pretty good versus aiming low and, being here. So Les Brown says people don't fail in life because they aim high and miss. He said they fail because they aim low and hit. So if you get in the cleaning business and say, okay, I just want to make 5,000 a month. All right, cool. You might hit that number, but it might not change your life. So my first number was 10,000. I was like, okay, with 10,000 a month, I can change my life. And I did. But once I hit it, I didn't get complacent. I said, all right, if I can make 10,000, I can make 20,000. So I doubled my number, hit that number. And then I kept going up by 10 till I got over 40,000 a month. So you just have to keep aiming higher. So in my case, I took the skills that I learned from my supervisor job. I learned how to do floors, hire subcontractors. So I took those skills and basically started, I bought a restaurant cleaning company. So I bought one of the subcontractors that I used to supervise. She was selling her restaurant cleaning company in Savannah because once I helped her get into business, she got pretty comfortable. She started selling more. She built her business up. And then she got into post-construction cleaning where she made even more money. So she remembered that I was a good supervisor, helped her get started in business. So she called me and was like, hey, I'm looking to sell my business. I'm going to focus on post-construction. So I had a supervisor job, company car, American Express card, bonus, weekly travel. So I'm traveling anywhere between Florida and Virginia every week, 2, 3, 4,000 miles a week. But I was learning a lot, how to hire people out of town, how to train subcontractors, how to troubleshoot buffers, because we had high-speed buffers, how to strip and wax floors, all this stuff. So when she called with the opportunity, even though I had this job with all these benefits, I was like, okay, that's my opportunity to go back full-time entrepreneurship. So I basically bought her business, put in my 30-day notice. Now I'm back just doing business. Long story short, because a lot happened in that, and we'll talk about it soon. But all right, so I stayed in Savannah. I ended up moving to Savannah to save the business that I just bought. End up giving it away after a year. I gave away probably about $17,000 a month worth of contracts. At this point, I had restaurant cleaning contracts. I had Family Dollars and some banks. So I wanted to move back to Columbia to be close to my son. So I basically what happened was I got underbidded on one of the contracts. So the guy that won that contract, I actually called him the next day and gave him everything else. Was like, hey, you can have the rest. I moved back to Columbia. I actually volunteered with the Salvation Army, just kind of was meditating, praying. I ended up getting a call from Family Dollar Corporation saying, hey, do you want to do all the Family Dollars in South Carolina? So I literally went from giving away my business, volunteering, having no income, to getting a call and back to making $500 a day stripping floors for a Family Dollar. So that's kind of how I got into the floor care part of the 5 cleaning businesses I've had. So the third one was restaurant cleaning. The fourth one was floor care because I got the call from Dollar General, and then I just started picking up more floor care accounts.
Got it. I mean, that's a great opportunity. I mean, how were you able to land all that? Was that the quality of the work? Was that the relationship? What do you think was it that the reason that they called you?
Good question. So, all right, I started off with, so far as the floor care, I just had a swing machine. So the company I was the supervisor for let me keep my wet vac and my side-by-side stripping machine. So I had the skills to do the floors. So I just got really good at doing floors. So when Dollar General called me, like my equipment was very inferior. I didn't have a cleaning van. I was using my little sister's Toyota Avalon, like a 94 Toyota Avalon, because my regular car was a brand new Dodge Charger with wheels on it. It didn't look nothing like a cleaning vehicle. And that's kind of part of how I lost the contract in Savannah. So in the cleaning business, it's perception too. So if you like, especially we'll say in my culture, it might be different for you, Alex, but all right, so just say at my Longhorn contract, it was, younger supervisors, Black guys. So I would pull up, work 2 or 3 hours. I would pull up in a brand new Charger, nice wheels, scoop, wing, like bad car, and just get out, got my backpack vacuum, clean 2 or 3 hours and leave. And they'll have to stay there all day. So they develop an animosity for me because they got to see my personal side of benefiting from entrepreneurship. Versus if I were to pull up in a van, they'd have just looked at me like the little cleaning guy because they don't really know, okay, cleaning guy is getting more for this contract than I'm getting for my salary, and he's only working 3 hours a night. So that's how I end up losing the contract. But fast forward. So I got this fancy car and the equipment and the experience, but no van, no big auto scrubbers, propane strippers. But every time I pull up to a dollar store, Family Dollar, I always did a really good job. So the reason why I got the call and kept getting the calls from management companies that wanted to sub to me, even though I didn't have the best equipment and didn't have a van yet, I did really good floor jobs. So like I would literally have managers look at, because my little sister actually was doing, it was me and her, two-person team, a side-by-side machine, a wet vac, and a couple of buckets, stripper and wax. So they would actually look at us when we pulled up in the Toyota Avalon, like, where's the rest of your crew and where's the equipment? And I would just tell them, like, because I didn't really have a leg to stand on other than what I could do as far as the work. So I would just say, hey, let us finish the job and then, give me your honest opinion afterwards. I would always shock them because we would do a great job. So I just kept getting the call after that.
Yeah, value. It's almost like a value over perception. Like, even if, you want to, of course, look as professional and act as professional as you can and have good relationships. But I mean, people pay based on, you know, you solving the problem. So, I mean, it's like, if you do a good job, you're going to get rewarded. And um, have there ever been any instances where maybe the quality went down as a result of you not being the person to clean?
We'll say on both ends. So on the cleaner's end, and then we'll say on my end. So, and I'm not, you know, I'm humble enough to say that, meaning now here's the trick though. So understanding why, and then what do you need to do when that happens? All right, so being that I'm not passionate about cleaning, I just use it as profit just to make money. Yeah, when I've got stuck in contracts longer than I felt like I wanted to be there, the quality went down. So just like any employee would, you start taking shortcuts. You know, yeah, I've got enough experience to know what shortcuts to take, but ultimately, I'm not gonna act like, you know, I didn't take shortcuts and I didn't feel bad about taking them. And sometimes it didn't reflect back, you know, and get back to the client. So what I tell people, once you start getting that feeling, whether you're passionate about the business or not, that's usually when you better hire somebody. That way you can manage them and supervise them and make sure the work get done, because you're not going to supervise yourself like you would somebody else. So what'll end up happening is quality go down, you lose the contract. And then you just keep losing contracts as long as the quality go down. So I usually know, like, if I start a contract, I'm in there too long, all right, I got to go ahead and hire somebody or subcontract, or I know it's going to get bad.
Got it.
Right.
So is it kind of just, I guess, like a feeling that you get when it's like, hey, this is like, we're starting to take shortcuts. So that's kind of a sign to myself, hey, I should start trying to find someone, either supervisor or subcontract, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So that's kind of that turning point. Okay.
Because at that point, you know, you're losing interest. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're truly passionate about it, it ain't, you just gonna actually do the whole process. Like, of course, yeah, you might take some shortcuts, but you're gonna do the majority of the work. But to say, when you're not passionate about it and you start losing interest and the quality of work starting to go down, you need to pull yourself out of there, or it's gonna affect your business and your health. Like, you're looking at it like a job now, and it's a hinder. It's like, okay, I gotta go do this, build it. Like, once you get there, you gotta pull yourself out, put somebody else in place.
That's awesome. Yeah, because it's like, if you don't do those small steps, it's like it can get just so overwhelming with having all of these accounts, and then just things just fall apart. And it just seems like the world's ending, you know, if you have, if you never did that in the first place. Because like, one thing you know, I'm kind of hearing from your story and the way you're able to build these different businesses is like, as soon as you see, like, you're very proactive. It seems like whenever you see like a problem, you look to see like, how can you solve that in the best way possible, rather than just letting it sit.
Right.
Because that's gonna, like, there's always gonna be problems, right? So it's like, if you let that one sit, then another one's gonna come along.
Right.
And it's just gonna pile on top, and, you know,
compounding like interest.
Yeah. So you always want to, you know, be on top of it, and all that kind of stuff. Just curious. So a lot of the people in this group, so I'm putting this on our YouTube channel, I'm putting this on our Facebook group, a couple other things. A lot of people in this industry, as well as in this group, they're kind of starting out, and you know, they want to get their first couple of accounts. I know the franchise model works out for some, maybe doesn't work out for some others. Obviously, there's subcontracting. You can, I mean, you've done marketing and advertising. You can go along that route, as well as cold call and do all that stuff. What would you recommend? Like, what would be like kind of the main things to focus on? Let's say, you know, you just maybe quit your job, or maybe you're just trying to get everything started, you know, after you get your LLC and all that kind of stuff.
All right. So I do, you know, give a lot of information as far as lead generation, because obviously you need sales and leads to stay in business, and money does motivate you, whether you're doing it for passion, purpose, or, you know, profit. So just say, it's a lot of things that work. So I just talk about a few things that I share with my clients. So just say, I've got contracts off LinkedIn. Just 2 years ago, I got a $60,000 a year painting and cleaning contract with an apartment complex. So the trick with that is, okay, when they say your network, the people that you associate with online and offline, determine your net worth. That's true. So your network, people you associate with online and offline, can influence your bank account if you understand how the game works. So online, how it works, if you add potential customers, like your target market, the people that most likely want or need your products or services and can afford it. So if you add them to your LinkedIn page, your IG, your Facebook, whether it's homeowners, whether it's property managers, whether it's medical facility owners. So if you add the right titles, the right people to your network online, and then you basically through social media engagement or inboxing them your elevator pitch, now they know who you are, what you do, and how you can help. So like the traditional know, like, and trust factor. So you can actually get contracts right off Facebook. I've done it several times, right off LinkedIn. But I add the right people that I want to be my potential customers or that fall in my target market. And then I inbox them because they won't know what you do, who you are, and if you can help if you never communicate with them. So that's why a lot of people send send you inboxes is they're pushing their agenda. Hey, here's my elevator pitch. This is what I do. So you can do the same thing and start getting contracts without paid advertising. All right, then you have Craigslist. Just off Craigslist, I've found over $300,000 a year worth of contracts. So this is from 2008 to now. Like I've found private school contracts, subcontracts for Food Lions, Balos, restaurants. I've got a lot of money right off Craigslist. It's free. You go look in the general labor section, find people that are subcontracted. So a lot of management companies, they find their subcontractors on Craigslist. You can also reach out to bigger companies or management companies like Citywide that actually give out subcontracts. So it's some companies that are in the janitorial business. All they do is sell and get new contracts and find people like us to sub out too. So you have some people in the industry, they'll tell you, like some of the gurus or whatever, I'll tell you, well, an organic contract is not better than a subcontract. If somebody's paying me $400,000 a year, I don't care what you call it, subcontract or organic contract. It's a freaking contract. The money spends. I've made a lot of money getting subcontracts. Trust me, the money is real. So
so when you get these big opportunities, like for example with the Dollar General, when it's it's this big opportunity, I don't know if you guys negotiated the price or how you work that out. Do you how do you know, like, or do you kind of take the opportunity if it's a good opportunity and then just figure out the numbers after, or do you kind of just sit at home, look over the numbers, look over the expenses, and or try to negotiate if you have to? Or
no, that's a good question. So most of the time when management companies, just like franchises, offer you contracts, they already have what you call a scope of work, meaning this is what you're going to be doing these days, and this is what we're willing to pay you. Now, yeah, you can negotiate sometimes, but in most cases, they already got their numbers figured out. So what I usually tell people is, in that case, you look at it as, look at volume, and then you look at passive income. So I was able to take, I had 14 to 18 Food Lions right here in Columbia. They were only paying, and this is floor care contract. So buffing, running the auto scrubber, shagging, like sweeping the floor. So this is daily maintenance. They were only paying me as a subcontractor $45 per service. All right, but I had 18 stores, some 3 days a week, some 4, some 5, some 6. So out of $45, what I did was pay my subcontractors $25 per service. So that means it's $19 passive income. So you multiply the 19 by 18 stores, I was making, was it $450 to $600 a day, not doing any of the stores. And it's because I went after volume, meaning I have 18 stores paying me $19 a day, and I don't have to leave my condo to get the money. So it added up. You see what I'm saying? So you can look at, volume and passive income. So it really just, determines, depends on what you're in it for. What are your your number goes, like where you trying to be. But everything adds up. So I look at it, whether it's $100 passive income a month, 200, 300. Once you keep getting enough of those, it'll add up. So, and then remember, the small accounts, and my cousin, uncle, he kind of told us this. He's, multimillionaire from the cleaning business in Ohio. He said the small accounts pay the bills. So you figure if you got 10, $300 to $500 a month contracts, if you lose one of them, it's not going to change your lifestyle. You got a few more. But if you got one $5,000 account a month, three $500 a month, and a $4,000 a month contract, you lose that $5,000 or $4,000 a month contract. You're gonna have to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's good to have a mix, because then you can kind of control the risk a lot more. Because I mean, it's great if you have a $50,000 a month contract, but don't mess it up, or else you're like back to square one.
If you lose it and you adapted your life to that, and your spouse and your kids, it's gonna be a lifestyle change. Versus I got multiple mixture of contracts. I got a lot of small ones, medium ones, big ones. You're probably not gonna lose all of those at one time. And it's not all eggs in one basket, meaning that one $50,000 a month contract. So yeah, definitely good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I think there's just so many valuable gems in this interview, and I think especially for anyone listening to this, if you're starting out, definitely take this advice. Start thinking like a business owner, and look at that cash flow quadrant if you haven't looked at that. I think if you ask a lot of people, one of the first books they recommend is Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a classic. A lot of other self-help books actually pull a lot of, I think, ideas from that. Right. It's a lot of like similar things between the different ones, but I think it's the mindset in terms of how you approach and how motivated you are, as well as how you make decisions, because it's like for you, like you had that vision of always using this as a way to generate cash, as well as consistently building that, and then making decisions so that you can continually to build it in a way that doesn't interfere with your personal life, and also gives you the headspace and the physical space to actually start these other businesses, do things that you're more passionate about, if that is the case. So it's kind of like, from what you're saying, it's kind of like delegate, systemize everything else.
Right.
Being able to figure it out that way, and then just work on what you're passionate about and continue to grow with what you enjoy. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, is there any, I know I'm definitely going to put your link down below, guys. So Tim actually does coaching. Would you say it's mostly for people that are starting out, or who would you say can really
both? So I coach new startups, like in the cleaning business and most other businesses. But since we're on the cleaning business, so I coach new startups, as far as helping them set up everything, teach them, like all the different ins and outs that they need to know to kind of scale faster. And then also existing business owners. So just like you said, it's people been in the cleaning business 5, 10, 15 years, and they don't know the difference between self-employed and business owner. So they're stuck in the business. Some of them, the fire has burnt out. Like they're like, hey, I'm not making enough money or what I want to make, and I'm stuck doing the work. So like I said, I just figured it out early. So I help a lot of people that's already been in business too, kind of figure it out, whether they're trying to fire their boss because they got a full-time job, part-time business. Now, in that case, I always say, whatever you give energy to grows. So just like you give your job 40 hours a week, you got to at least give your business part-time hours, which is up to 29 hours a week, or how would it grow? You're not giving it any energy. So I kind of help people with that transition to how to fire their boss. So I help, all levels of, people in the cleaning business.
Yeah, I love that. And I think at the beginning, it's like you don't see like the actions actually, helping you later down the line. Because it's not, I wish business was just like, like this, but it's really not. Like you literally see nothing, and then it's just like, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
But the fact that you're, I think, able to, keep people motivated, especially in the beginning, And I think there is a lot of people that are either working a full-time job or part-time, maybe to have bills to pay, to have family, and kind of just making that transition, I think is really, really hard for a lot of people. Like, I mean, I was fortunate when I was starting out. I mean, it was, I didn't have a family, and, I had minimal bills, but it's not always the same case for everyone. And, to make that transition and, stay motivated is definitely, that alone is, I think, a huge thing that's hard. So anyone listening to this, just realize you're not alone. There's people out there like Tim who, they've been through it. They know all the struggles. They know probably 99% of the same exact challenges that you're facing. So I'll definitely be posting your link down below.
Okay.
And yeah, do you have, I'm going to open up to Q&A. We have a couple people in a second, but did you have any kind of closing thoughts, anything else you want to add?
Well, I'll say this just in case nobody asks, because, you put a lot of emphasis on mindset, and any of my coaching programs, I always start people off with mindset. So that's good that you definitely push that and let them know that part. So I say it like this. Seek and ye shall find. Sorry, so when you look at entrepreneurs versus 9-to-5ers, entrepreneurs look for opportunities. 9-to-5ers look for higher paying jobs. So their mindset is, I'm looking for a job. When you're an entrepreneur, your mindset should be, I'm looking for more opportunities. So you get what you're asking for and what you're seeking. I've always looked for opportunities. So even on social media, I never looked at it as social media keyword, meaning fun, games, and entertainment. I look at it as social network, meaning your network determines your net worth. So my goal is to turn friends and followers into leads and sales. So of course, I'm trying to teach them something, give them value, but I'm on, Facebook, LinkedIn, IG for different reasons. I'm not on there to be entertained. I'm on there to network, to inspire others, to empower, to coach. So I'm on there with a business mindset. And then when I'm on classified sites or just, out during the day, I'm looking for opportunities. So you rarely find what you're not looking for. So all around you are opportunities, whether it's residential cleaning, commercial cleaning, pressure washing. So most of the time is just what are you accustomed to looking for?
I love that. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And I love the fact that you're bringing up online. Like, guys, we're not in the 1800s. Like, you can go online and just, instead of knocking, I mean, not saying door knocking is horrible, but you can definitely just send out, in even just a couple minutes, you can send out 20 messages or emails, LinkedIn messages.
Absolutely.
So I love that you hit on that. I mean, I didn't want to say it myself, but I completely agree with that. Yeah, so I'm going to open up to Q&A. So anyone on this call, feel free to, I think some of you guys are muted, but feel free to jump in, ask any questions to Tim after this. Like I said, I'm going to put the link down below as well if you want to talk to him one-on-one. But yeah, anyone here, feel free to ask any questions and chime in.
I think Angel.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It was just hearing everything you said just brought me just pure joy, and to hear your success and hear your accomplishments and what you're doing. It's just very exciting. I thought I didn't know what this the meeting was gonna be, and I was just like gonna check in, but it just really caught my attention. I'll stop my plans throughout the day to hear this, and I'm excited to hear it later. So thank you, Alex, for keep having this recorded. So what was my question? So like sorry, just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So what do you do now? Like, what do you do right now?
Okay. All right. So as I stated earlier, I'm in the cleaning business for profits only. So I'll always have my foot in the cleaning business. So right now I'm on my 5th cleaning company. It's called East Coast Facility Service. So instead of targeting city and state contracts, I'm targeting Miami to Maine. So I get contracts from Florida to New York. So I got a partner in New York, we get contracts up there. Got a partner in Tennessee, we get contracts there. Charlotte, South Carolina. So I still do the cleaning business per se, but I also do like multiple other businesses. So I got, like I said, a restaurant, liquor store, food truck, business school, self-service car wash. So I just like entrepreneurship in general.
That's absolutely amazing. Is it like how do you get these opportunities? I mean, Family Dollar? Like that was awesome.
Right. So it's a lot of management companies that actually look for subcontractors. So just yesterday, US Maintenance, that's a big management company. They reached out to me with some Best Buys, PetSmarts, like so it's basically just filling out a subcontractor's package. And then see, most of the retail stores are bidded on the corporate level. So that means people go to like Florida, they, wine and dine the corporate executives, and then they put in bids like that, or they bid them corporate, and then they'll find people like smaller companies to subcontract to. So it's actually
Okay.
not as hard as, it may seem. And it's not, so most people can't just walk in to Best Buy, hey, let me bid on the contract. But you can walk in and ask who has the contract and find out if that company is a management company and if they subcontract to people. So
So
even the contracts you don't have, it's smart to walk in there, talk to the manager to see who has the contract, and then contact that person because they might be subcontracting to people like us.
gotcha. And
Right.
he said when I got on, he said you bought your first thing at 21.
You kind of cut off. Say that again.
I said, he said that you bought your first.
Jani-King at 21. Right. So and it was, I always like with the two franchises I had, I came in on the bottom level. Now, like I said, we did the work, took the troubled accounts and just kind of worked our way up to six figures. But started at the bottom, like basic equipment, didn't spend thousands of dollars to get in. Like I think when I got in, it was like 1,500 to 3,000. You pay the money, they guarantee you, the small amount per month, but we always got way more than we paid for.
Okay, so what advice would you give me? Like, I'm a small business owner. Of course, I have a few workers, like a handful, like four. You know,
Right.
I hate cleaning. I hate it so. It's not for me. Okay, it's just
Right.
not. But I've
Not
been
your
doing it.
passion.
Huh?
I said, not your passion, right?
No, sir, it's not my passion at all. You did say something. You said passion, purpose, and another P word. I'll look at the recording, but
Profit, passion, and purpose.
there it is. Okay, it's profit. Okay.
Right.
And I'm small. I'm trying to get out to. I'm definitely trying to get out the cleaning field as soon as possible, like literally ASAP. Like, what would be your advice for me on
So
that part?
meaning you want to keep the business, but you want to stop doing the cleaning yourself, or you want to get out the business altogether? Huh? Can you hear me? Hey, Alex, I think her screen froze up.
Oh, Angel, I don't know if you're able to, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but maybe try to see if you can exit and then come back into the meeting, maybe.
Yeah, I think her screen froze up.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Can you hear us?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. It was,
So,
I don't know what happened.
all right. So you saying you want to keep the business, you just want to get out the field.
I would definitely, yeah, I want to keep it. It's definitely a pay to, have a business. I want to definitely have $1 million business. That's my goal with this company. Then
Right.
jump to what you're doing.
Right. So main thing you gotta master, or not master, but just get good at hiring, because you can't scale, meaning grow, if you're getting a contract and losing the contract. And the only thing that would cause you mainly to lose the contract on your end is performance and attendance. So, and then of course, quality of cleaning. So performance, which is same thing as quality, and attendance, that's usually how people lose contracts. Either the people don't show up, or the people show up and don't do the scope of work to satisfaction. So so you want to build a good team, meaning have solid people doing the work. Now, on your end, you focus on getting more work. So remember, they're looking for work, you're looking for opportunities, meaning contracts. So as you're finding opportunities, you're just placing people that are looking for work at work. And then from there, I just say part of building a good team is you're training them right. So just say you have the written scope of work, plus you can actually train them on, things that you learned from the cleaning business, like, hey, people like to smell like a fresh smell, whether it's bleach or pine sol. Women don't like the toilet up. Sometimes they'll put toilet paper behind the urinal to see if you clean the base of the toilet. So the better you train them, and they're, reliable people, meaning they're going to show up to work, be presentable, do the work, and they're cool with it, then, once you build a team, focus on sales, and then you just take it to the next level.
Right, because I did, probably somebody else probably got a question, but I did, I was complaining because the hiring is like really rough right now. Back before COVID, it was a little more easier, just post the ad and, people just come on. But I did notice that, like, it's very rough right now. But I told him, like, I'm not going to complain right now, because until I give it all I got, as far as the hiring goes, and give it my time, where me and my assistant could definitely, sit down and really get it together. So I'm not going to complain, but I'm going to definitely work on that.
Yeah, I would say take more action. Like, I'm a, believer in meditating and praying, but even the Bible says faith without works is dead. So faith is one side of it, the works is the other part. You got to do the work.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Angel, I would love, because we have this other call coming up soon at 2:30. Let's definitely dive more into that and see, what we can do to help you. We have some, not just the trainings, but I want to see if, for example, Michael can help you. Tim is a great resource for that, for hiring, because that's definitely a huge thing. I mean, now unemployment is ending, which is good. But yeah, definitely would love to talk to you more. Tim is an amazing resource, but I think Michael can probably give some good feedback on that, how to create a good system. That is gonna, Tim, what you said is so true. Like that is, it's not just like the lead generation side, but also just like, how do you have a consistent system to bring in new hires? And a lot of people didn't have a system, and that was kind of, they maybe came to that realization, with the way things have been, over the last year or so, with, the hires and all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually, we have about 5 more minutes here. Is there any other questions that anyone else has on here? How's it going, Tammy, Marilee, Patrick? Going once, going twice. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, like I said, oh, Marilee, did you want to say something?
No. I was here. It was really interesting to hear about the franchise and all that. It's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I'll put his link down below. I think, Tim, you're in our group, I think, right? Our Facebook group?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I think I tagged you on the post, but yeah, if anyone wants to reach out to Tim, he's a great resource, especially if you're in the franchise as well as starting out, and just need some resource and guidance. He's a great guy. Tim, I definitely want to talk to you after this as well on a separate note. But yeah,
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoyed this another interview. I am looking to do more interviews. If any of you guys on the call, or you, Tim, if you guys know anyone else that you think would be good to come on, I would love to do this with more people, because I think it's helping a lot of people, because they're getting different perspectives, they're getting different golden nuggets from different parts of the business. So I appreciate you coming on, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, thanks for having me too, Alex.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. And thank you guys all for coming on. And we'll be posting this in the group as well as the YouTube channel for you guys.
All right, y'all take it easy.
See you guys.